Okay, welcome back everyone. So before the break, we were discussing about the Nebosh IGC course structure. We discussed about the IG1 and IG2 units of Nebosh IGC, and we discussed that the IG1 will be an open book exam, which is called an OBE, and IG2 will be assessed based on a risk assessment assignment. Okay. So now I'm going to discuss with you the examination preparation techniques for open book exam. Now, please remember that these techniques which I am sharing with you are very, very important. Okay. These techniques are very, very important in order for you to pass the exam. So please pay attention, and learning is important as well. But if you have good knowledge, if you have good learning, but you don't have solid examination techniques, you will struggle to pass. So please try to grasp these techniques. Please try to learn how to prepare for the Nebosh open book exam, so you guys can have a good result. Okay. So the Nebosh International General Certificate, Nebosh IGC open book exam, you need to keep in mind that preparation for the exam is key. It is very, very important to have good preparation for the exam. If you are ill prepared for the exam, you will struggle. So you need to study in order to build up your knowledge, okay, and practice your reading skills. Don't try to memorize things. Don't try to rote learn. So rote learning, memorizing thing, that will not help you for this open book exam. You need to study the Nebosh books in order to build your knowledge and to build your understanding of the subjects. So if you keep on memorizing, that will not help you. So read whatever course content is given, and you try to make concepts and try to build up your knowledge. Another very important tip which I would give you guys is to start working now. You have joined the course, it means you are studying now, so you need to start studying immediately from day dot. Okay, don't leave it till the end of the exam, just 1 day or 2 days before the exam, and then start to study hard. No, don't study at the very last minute. Don't leave it too late. Read wisely and try to understand the ideas and build concepts. So as I told you guys, the key for preparation is to have good understanding and have good concepts. So rote memorization is useless. Difficulty arises when you try to revise, that is learn your course material in a few days at the end of the course. Okay, so if you study at the end of the course, you won't be able to build your concepts. You need to have concepts in order to take this exam. So I suggest you start studying from day one. Okay, now getting started. Whenever you study, now this is the class which we are having. This is not considered as studying. Okay, this class or this session is considered tuition. It is not considered studying. In addition to this tuition that I'm giving you guys, you will need to do self-study. You will have to start reading the books yourself to gain the knowledge, to get the understanding. Okay, so when you what you need to do before you get started for studying is that you need to organize properly. Okay, you need to make sure that you have a proper schedule every day, and you need to make sure that you look at small things one by one, step by step, and not study everything in one go. Okay, so start studying in small topics, small items, break them down one by one, and each topic you can study. You can give half an hour a day. So give half an hour or 20 minutes a day to read a topic, and read things slowly, and try to build your knowledge steadily. Okay, and when you are going to sit down and read, you need to make sure that you get settled properly. You have comfortable clothing, a proper comfortable chair, go to the bathroom, and so you don't have to get up again and again. Because if you get distracted when you're studying, you will take more time to understand something. Okay, get a cup of coffee, get a drink, relax, have all the equipment and the notes available. establish targets and deadlines. So make sure you have a deadline that in the first week you will cover the first few topics of element 1, okay? And then slowly you can build and you can increase those targets, okay? Next, you need to do revision as well. So once you've studied or read something, you need to make sure that you revise it so the subject remains fresh in your mind. Organize and start early revision. A good time to revise is on the completion of each element. So when we have completed one element, it's a good idea to have a revision of the entire element. Allocate more time to the weaker subjects which you don't understand properly. Give them more time. Take regular breaks and limit the hours of each workday and put deadlines in your calendar. Okay, now this is a slide which is very important. There was a study carried out in the UK, and after that study, the researchers, they found out what is required to succeed in exam. So after that study, they evaluated and they concluded that in order to have success in exams, there are three things you need to have. Number one, you need to have an inbuilt ability to pass exams, and that inbuilt ability counted for 20% of exam success. Okay, you need to have good knowledge, and good knowledge counts for 30% of exam success. However, 50% of exam success depends on strong examination techniques. So if you understand how to take the exam, how to approach the exam, that is where you will get the maximum success rates. So you need to have, obviously, your inbuilt abilities there. You need to build your knowledge, but you need to understand the examination techniques in order to pass exams or succeed in exams. Okay, very important is when you read the question paper, when you read the scenario, and when you read the questions, you need to read the whole question and read it carefully. Okay, because every word in the question is there for a reason, and if you just read it, read it quickly, you will not be able to understand exactly what the examiner is asking for, and you might give the wrong answer. This happens very often. Okay, so people, what they do is they read the question in a hurry. They pick out a few words from the question and they make up an understanding, and then they start giving the answer. That is wrong. You need to read the full question at least 1, 2, or 3 times to understand it properly, and then give the answer which is being asked by the examiner. And during the answer, again, go back and read the question just to confirm that what you are answering is in line with the question. Okay, reread the question until certain that you understand what is being asked, and answer specific to the question. Don't give irrelevant or generic answer. You will not be given any mark for irrelevant or generic answers. Okay, look at the aspects of the topic that you are being asked to consider. Also consider the number of parts of the question. Questions might be question 1 part A, question 1 part B, part C, and there might be sub parts as well. So read the question properly and look at the sub parts of the question as well. Scenario questions, obviously, in the scenario questions, you need to make sure that you refer to the scenario where it is mentioned. If you don't refer to the scenario and you give a general answer, it will not be acceptable, and you will not be awarded marks for giving generic answers. So please make sure that you read questions properly, you read questions thoroughly, and you answer specific to the question being asked. Do not give generic answers. Structuring your answer is very important. Okay, now when you answer the questions being asked, this is key. Many people fail because they do not understand how the examiners are going to award your marks and how they need to structure their answer. Okay, now when you are answering any question, you need to look at the marks assigned to the question. Okay, when I shared the question paper with you guys, Okay, let me share it again with you guys. You must have seen that there is a small, what you call it, box. There is a small in brackets, and in those brackets it is written what is the marks assigned to that question. So let me just take this down. Now here, let's say question number 1. You can see over here at the bottom that there are 10 marks assigned to this question. Okay, so 10 marks are assigned to this question. Now you need to understand this, because if you don't understand this, you won't be able to answer it properly, and you won't know how much information you need to answer. Okay, how much information you need to include in your answer. So basically, going back to the slides, so look at the marks assigned to each question, and when you're answering, you need to make sure that you are giving sufficient points in your answer in accordance with the marks awarded. So basically, if a question carries 10 marks, you need to give at least 10 technical points in your answer. Okay. And the examiner, he will award 1 mark for each piece of information which is valid and relevant to the question. Okay. So you need to, if there are 10 marks assigned to a question, then you need to give at least 10 points, 10 technical points which are relevant to the question being asked. Okay, so you need to, if a question carries 10 marks, you need to give at least 10 points or pieces of information. Okay, if you don't give 10 pieces of information, you will not get the full marks. Okay, and then write in short paragraphs or bullet points. Each point must be separated from the other point. If you jumble up all the points together, the examiner, it will be difficult for them to answer or to award you marks. So each point should be separated from the other, clearly distinguished. It's also a good idea to give headings and numbers. Okay, and you should start each new issue with a new paragraph. So every new topic or every new technical point you're giving to answer, you need to start it in a new paragraph. Okay, guys, this is very, very key and very, very important to remember. If a question carries 10 marks, you must give at least 10 technical points to get full marks. Okay, and those technical points must be relevant to the question being asked. Now let's open that answer sheet, and I will explain to you further on how we can how you should give this. Okay, let's go to question number 1. You guys can see my screen now clearly. You can see the answer sheet.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So let me just open the question paper again. So here you can see that this is the scenario and this is the question being asked. Okay. Now here, the first question, this is related to the extent to which articles have been fulfilled as per C155 and not. So this carries 10 questions. Now I will tell you how I will answer this question. Okay. So I will say number 1. Now I'm giving an answer relevant to the scenario. You guys will not understand this at the moment, but you need to understand the pattern that I am using to answer this question. Okay, you need to understand the format that I am using to understand this, to answer this question. Okay, guys, so you can see how I'm answering the questions. So this question carries 10 marks. So what I need to do is I need to give at least 10 similar points. Okay, I've given the first point, which is safe system work. I've given the second point, which is training. So similarly, I need to give at least 10 points. I will give point number 3, blah, 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 blah. Point number 4, blah, blah, blah. Point number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, but each point, it needs to be at least of 2 lines explanation. Okay, so if you don't give enough explanation, you will not be given the full marks. Okay, so you need to make sure that you need at least you give at least 2 lines for each point. Okay, like this: 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so this is how you need to structure your answer. If you write only this heading, okay, if you write a short, if you write this as your answer, you will not get marks. If you write your answer like half a line for your answer or a few words in your answer, you will not be awarded proper marks. Okay, so for a question which carries 10 marks, you need to mention at least 10 technical and relevant points which are specific to the scenario, and you need to structure them in a way. Headings are not necessary. Okay, so it's not necessary, but it is a good idea to give headings. You can write them like this as well. Okay, so instead of giving headings, you can simply write this as well. Okay, this is also acceptable by Nebosh. The best way is to use a heading. If you don't want to use a heading, you can simply answer like this. You can simply answer without headings and make the answers like this. Okay. However, because as I told you guys that if there are 10 marks assigned to a question, you need to mention at least 10 points. Each point must be at least of 2 lines so that you have enough information that you can put in to be awarded the marks. Okay. Or you can also do it without numbers. You can use bullets. Instead of numbers, you can use bullets as well. You can do like this. Okay. Or if you don't want to use any bullets, you can answer it without bullets in the form of paragraphs. This is also acceptable. Okay, 1 point, 2, second point, third point, fourth point, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 marks, there are 10 technical points which the examiner can award marks on. However, you should never answer or structure your paper like this. You can do this, you might be awarded marks, but it will be very, very difficult for the examiner to award you marks. Why? Because he has to read all of these jumbled paragraphs, and how he will distinguish between one point and the second point. How will he give you points? Okay, so this is very, very difficult. But if all the points are separate, if they are properly distinguished, they will be very, very happy and they will award you marks very, very easily. Okay, so this is how you guys need to structure your answers, and this is very, very key information which many institutes which not tell you, and which is key to passing your exam. Okay, so please keep this in mind. So as I told you guys, each technical point must be clearly described in small paras or bullets of 2 to 3 lines. Guys, please don't write on the screen. it is a good idea to give a few extra points with your answer. So if there are 10 points, 10 marks to the answer, you can give 1 or 2 extra points, so that you, maybe if you make a mistake or if you write something wrong, then you might get the extra point. Do not repeat the same point in different words, and because 2 marks will not be awarded for the same answer. Guys, please do not write on the screen. Do not repeat the same point in different words, as you will not be awarded 2 marks for one piece of information presented in different words. Okay, so this is how you need to structure your answer. Okay, now I'll discuss some very common mistakes which people make. You need to avoid these mistakes at all costs, guys. Number one, candidates take the OBE exam very lightly. They think it's an open book exam. On the final day, they will open the book, answer the question, easy peasy, job done. No, that is not the case. It's a very professional examination. You need to have good preparation in order to pass. If you take it lightly, you will definitely struggle. Candidates don't take the day off on the exam day, and I have preached this many times. The open book exam is a concept based paper. If you work all day, okay, normally people, the normal working hours are 8 to 10 hours a day. Okay, SNLE, please stop writing on the screen. So normally